And waiting down in the pit to talk to Barry Sheen is Steve Ryder.
Barry, Donington, a place you've got a tremendous affection for. You must be delighted to see the Grand Prix here.
Because the Bike Grand Prix was at Silverstone for so many years, and I thought it was only fair that Donington should have it, because obviously it gets the biggest crowd of the year. I'm very pleased with them.
What kind of a challenge does it provide for the riders?
It's a good circuit because it's uphill and down dale as against Silverstone being flat. They've put a new loop on the circuit now, which makes it a bit more interesting. It's a good challenging circuit. You know, you don't need a very powerful bike here. If you've got a good steering bike, then you're in with a chance.
Now, every year we raise our hopes of a possible British winner of our home Grand Prix. We're justified in having high hopes, though, this year.
Well, I think so. We've got 5 British guys in the top 12 in practice. And Ron Haslam, it's his home circuit, and he's got a very good bike. So you've got to keep your fingers crossed. But I think Ron Haslam stands a really good chance. It'd be nice for him to win it because he really deserves it.
He's gone well in practice. How important is it in the race, though, to have the local knowledge of racing on this circuit?
I don't think it's that important anymore because they've been testing here now for 3 days, and after you've done a day's testing, you know it. You know, so I don't think he's got any big advantage over anybody.
But your own feelings being here, you'd obviously like to be out on a bike in this occasion, I should think.
Well, probably, I don't know. You know, I gave up racing, so it would have been nice to have had a competitive bike to have won a British Grand Prix. But I've given it up, so that's all there is to it, really.
Great to see you here. We look forward to hearing from you in final practice later this afternoon. Barry, thanks very much.
It would be good to see him in action, wouldn't it? We'll be going back to Donington.
Vital practice session, 40 minutes, which are going to decide the grid for the 500cc class of tomorrow's British Grand Prix. The first one ever to have been held at this superb circuit at Donington. And unsurprisingly, in pole position at the moment is Wayne Gardner, the man who is leading the World Championship. And he's riding a worked Honda, of course. Now, Randy Mamola, the American from California, is on one of the V4 Yamahas. As you can see, he's 12 points behind Wayne Gardner. But since you get 15 points for a win, that gap could be closed. You do not in motorcycle racing, as in Grand Prix car racing, get the machine mortality. Virtually everybody that starts finishes, so it is unlikely that, for instance, Mamola or Wayne Gardner would not finish. Eddie Lawson, the double world champion riding a Yamaha, is not doing well this season compared with Wayne Gardner, who seems to have not only a machine advantage but a psychological advantage over the American. Ron Haslam is the top British rider, and all season he has been undecided about whether to ride the very special French Elf machine, which has got a unique suspension and has a 4-cylinder Honda, or one of the standard, well, works really, Hondas, V4 Hondas, which he's been on all season. And I think that's what he's going to be riding in the Grand Prix tomorrow. Now, one of the sensations of 1987 has been Pier Francesco Chili, the Italian private owner, who's riding a 3-cylinder Honda, and in 6th position, tying in the World Championship, are the British rider Rob McElhenney, who rides a works Yamaha in the Giacomo Agassini team, and Tadahiko Taira, the top Japanese rider. And the other sensation of 1987, apart from Chile, is the man who is 8th position in the World Championship, Neil Mackenzie, who at this race last year, albeit at a different circuit, made his 500cc debut ride. And now he's riding in the same team as 3 times world champion Freddie Spencer, who's making his return to Grand Prix racing again this season here at Donington. There is the British rider, Roger Burnett, number 12, 10th in the World Championship, and number 2 that he's following is the top man of 1987, Australian Wayne Gardner, who lives in Monaco. They're on 2 very different machines. Number 12 that Burnett is riding is actually a camera bike, and it's the one that they call the Animal. It's the bike that Wayne Gardner rode last year as a worked Honda, and this year Roger Burnett has been promoted in the team, but he's got last year's machine, and we'll be showing you some pictures from the camera that's mounted just over Roger Burnett's left hand on the twist grip. and which looks through the windscreen in front of him. Now,
yeah, that's Roger just coming down the main straight now over for the start and finish. And you're down 3 gears here into third for the right-hander at Redgate. Very tricky corner, very tight, tightens up on the way out. And then you're accelerating hard up into third, up into fourth, rather, fifth. And then changing direction, going down Craner curves, into the right-hander at the old hairpin. Back another gear, back into third. Accelerating out of there, up towards the bridge at Starkey's. That's a very tricky corner, this, because it's quite off-camber. And then into another tight left-hander, and then into the right-hander, which is called McLean's. You accelerate out of here in third, just up into fourth gear, and then back into third again for the right-hander at Coppice. And this is a terrible corner because you've got to be so careful putting the power on coming out of this, because it's easy to get it to step out. Here it's up into fourth, up into fifth. He'd be hitting sixth just by the bridge, and then he'll be back four gears now, back in the second. It's a very tight essence here. It's a new one. It's quite a struggle to get the thing through. Accelerating up hard, third gear, fourth, and then back right the way down through the box, down into the hairpin. Now the hairpin first, and you're just about to get into second now, up into third, and then up into fourth. I've never actually raced him. It looks really tight on this. Back into second gear for this. Goddard's. And here we are, back again at the start line. All in one piece, which is nice.
you did that lap of Donington with double world champion Barry Sheene, and who would know better than him? And here is Roger Burnett chasing Wayne Gardner. Now, Burnett has done better in practice here at Donington than he has done anywhere else this season. At the present moment, he's in 7th position on the grid, and that is a tremendous achievement. This is his first full season of Grand Prix racing, and as I talk to you now in this 40-minute session, Wayne Gardner is still in pole position. Neil Mackenzie, the Scottish rider, who is the ex-British champion in the 250 and 350 classes, is second on the grid, ahead of double world champion, the Yamaha rider Eddie Lawson. 4th, and this is an incredible achievement as you now look at Wayne Gardner, the World Championship leader and the pole position holder. But 4th, an incredible achievement, is Britisher Kenny Irons, who is riding a works machine for Suzuki, and this is his first season of Grand Prix racing of any kind. He's really been thrown into the deep end. 5th is double British Grand Prix winner Randy Mamola, the American, who has finished 2nd in the World Championship, 4 times, I think. And in 6th position, the Japanese rider Takahiko Tatara on the Yamaha, and then, as I said, Roger Burnett is in 7th place. And Wayne Gardner certainly has got a very distinctive style.
Yeah, he sure has, Murray. He hangs off right off the side of the bike, and he's come on a lot now, Wayne. I was talking to him earlier yesterday, and he was just having a go at me because I said that he crashed a lot, which he did used to. And he's certainly come on now. You know, this season, to my knowledge, he hasn't fallen down. And psychologically, he's a lot stronger than a lot of the other riders are. So he's in a very good position now, but he's also in a difficult position because he's leading the World Championship. And what seems to happen, the only thing that ever seems to happen, they whittle away your lead, and it's a very difficult thing. The guy who's in the best position in the World Championship is Randy Mamola, because he's lined 2nd. He's been 2nd in the World Championship 4 or 5 times, and it's easy to come from the back.
Well, Wayne is obviously going well. I talked to him as well, and I asked him if he was happy with his performance this year.
Yeah, I'm happy. Of course, I'd like to win them all if possible, but it's virtually, or just about impossible to do that. We've had a few problems, bar from the weather and so on like that, but the whole package has been rolling along quite nice, and I just hope we can have some dry races soon.
Now, I know, and it's no secret, that you called last year's Honda 4 that you rode the Animal. This one is a slightly different kettle of fish, is it not?
Yes, it's basically from all the information which we learnt last season, it's all been put into Honda, into a computer, and this is what they spat out, a new machine, a new revised system of engine and different geometry and brakes, and everything's just been tidied up. And as you see, it's working very well, the nice package this year.
You are leading the World Championship and you're ahead of double world champion Eddie Lawson, and it seems to me that you have a psychological advantage over him.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are saying that the Yamaha riders are saying, oh, the Honda's too fast this year, we can't beat them. To me, I want them to keep thinking that, because when they think that, then they don't try, and so I'm happy with their thinking at the moment.
What do you think of Donington? Because you've had a lot of experience here, but you've never actually ridden on the circuit with the new loop before, have you?
Well, I haven't. I've actually ridden around here on a street bike, but I haven't raced around here. The last time I raced here was the transatlantic races in '85. So, but of course we didn't have this new section. With this new section, it completely changes the setting up of the machine, and it makes it a lot more difficult to get on with.
Wayne, one of the many things that fascinates me about you is your ability to jump in an aeroplane and fly to Japan, do a race, come back, do another race here, then go off to the other side of the world. How on earth do you manage to do it without jet lag?
I think it's because I like what I do. As you say, when I go to Japan, I'm appreciated for what I do, and so, and also I try to get as much sleep on the way as possible. So, you know, it gets me down a little bit, and it throws your system out quite a bit. But as I say, I just like what I do, and it doesn't seem to bother me as much as a lot of others.
But there is the man that many, many, many thousands of people will be coming to Donington primarily to see tomorrow. It is the return to Grand Prix racing of one of the greatest motorcycle riders of all time, Freddie Spencer, 25 years old, from Shreveport in America, the world champion of 1983 in the 500cc class, a double world champion for Honda in 1985 on both 250s and 500s. But now he's making a return to Grand Prix racing for one reason or another, and there have been 4 different reasons. He has virtually been out of racing for 18 months. And getting back into racing, of course, is incredibly difficult. He returns then to the Grand Prix circuit in an accident-prone period, and the first problem he had was an accident to his shoulder.
Right, it was I broke my collarbone and my shoulder, my scapula, which is connected to my shoulder blade, and it caused muscle damage and other things. And of course, that was the most unfortunate one, because the guy fell out in front of me, and there was nothing I could have done. You know, I could have hit him, but I hit his motorcycle instead.
But then, of all things, for your knee pad to dig in, that was really tragic.
Yeah, it was. That was just a freak accident, because, you know, my knee has hit, you know, I've hit things before and it drags and maybe a little scratch, but the protection is what damaged it. But, you know, it's the first time that I'd used it, so it needed some refining.
Well, did you ever feel, after 3 accidents and problems as quickly as that somebody had it in for you and that you weren't destined to ride again?
No, I never view it that way. I'm basically optimistic. The way that I looked at it was like at Yugoslavia, for instance. That was an accident that is a racing accident, but it's also caused by lack of riding.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking that because you're Freddie Spencer and because you've got all the success that you have behind you, that all you have to do is put your leg across the bike and win. But it's not like that, is it?
No, it's not like that for anybody. You know, I mean, it's a lot of hard work. I've been doing it many, many years, and you know, to get to the top, I put in hundreds, thousands of hours, and so I haven't had the opportunity to you know, perfect it as much over the past 15 months, you know, since 1986. So being off is definitely what it does. It takes away that consistent lap after lap after lap quick time. Like I could go out there probably now and put in an all-out lap, you know, that'd be quicker than I'm going now, but it wouldn't really be the smartest thing. It wouldn't really accomplish the goal, which I have is doing well on Sunday.
Pole position for tomorrow's...
Mr. Scott says no. Is Kura here? Matu, where is she?